what I heard too is beginning and starting, and also too not having any type of judgment of where a company is. Just because you start somewhere doesn't mean that you have to end that
Mm.
way either. I mean, because for example, some folks say, well, because there are compensation limits on a SEP, don't start one. Well, that's not necessarily true. That may not fit your company at that time. Uh, it may be a better fit than a solo
Right.
K. And then also too, you can roll up the IRAs into the solo Ks once you start them. I mean, so that is an option as well. So a big common mistake is not starting, uh, and maybe taking a bigger leap than you should, or not taking that big leap as you should, into starting that big plan. Let's get into uh, oh, one more mistake, Rick, before we get into the different types
Mhm.
of plans, because you were touching on them already. What what about the contribution deadlines and starting up the plans? Because the deadlines for plans, not starting them and adhering to them, and then also the contribution deadlines, they're coming up, and there's a couple of nuances between S corps and LLCs and solo practitioners. What let's talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the cool things that Secure 2.0 did was state, even if you wanted to start a plan after the year has completed, you can still do that as long as you've done it. You've set the plan up prior to your corporate tax filing deadline. So you certainly want to pay attention to December 31st. You want to pay attention to March 15th, right? Because those are the big dates that we really pay attention to when contributions are coming in. I would even say July 31st and October 15th for when you actually do have those plans. Those are the filing deadlines for the tax return for the retirement plan. I think, again, everything stems around consultation, right? As a TPA, when we're having these consultative conversations with the client, we're explaining everything that takes place throughout the year and what the important dates are, right? For getting contributions in, getting eligibility situated, getting documents and notices sent out to participants, because again, this is all legally binding, right? So, again, just having the conversation and alerting and educating when contributions need to be submitted. And not only that, we have to talk about what the penalties are, right? Because at the end of the day, this is a qualified plan. It's a tax qualified plan. And if you don't get your monies in a timely fashion, then it's a moot point. You're not going to be able to take advantage of the tax benefits because the money's not there, right? And again, everything stems around the corporate tax filing
Mhm.
deadline. So make sure, again, with consultation, you're having conversation around when is the corporate tax filing deadline? When do I need to get these contributions in to be able to take advantage of the tax qualifiedness of the plan?
Exactly, exactly. And now that at the time of this recording, it's April, or we're live right now, but it is April, and so knowing that you can make contributions up until March 15th for S corps, and then April 15th for the solo case is important. So very 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 much important. Let's pivot to with the type of plans, and you were touching on it already. SEPs, you know, SEP symbols, and what these things mean. We got the acronyms. Everything everybody talks is in code. My mother hates it, by the way. She's like, y'all need to be talking in real sentences. Don't be talking about for real, or FR, right? Say it out loud. So, what does SEP mean? What does simple IRA mean? Solo K. What do these things mean? And simplified, employee pension is the SEP, and then savings incentive matching plan is the simple, and and the solo K. Also knowing that your spouse can use the solo K as well, so that's double benefit. And some of these limits, and one of your specialties is taking a step further, is the safe harbor and the traditional 401k, when you have multiple employees, when you're talking about retaining talent and all that. Let's talk about each one of those with the time that we have.
Yeah. So, wow. Let's see. Where do we start? Well, let's start with the
Let's
SEP.
start with the SEPs.
Okay.
Let's
So
start with the
again,
SEPs. Let's start with the SEPs.
yeah, we'll start with the SEP, and again, this is a 100% employer funded plan. Okay, and I think the key thing to know about this is again, maximum contribution is up to 25% of eligible compensation, but what you do for yourself as the business owner, you also have to do for your employees, right? So if you've got, let's say, 10 employees, and you say, well, I want to give myself 20% in contribution. Well, you got to give 20%, I'm sorry, 20% to each eligible employee. And if all 10 are eligible, that's 20% to each, right? And I would even say most employers are not comfortable with that, right? So doing a consultative approach, again, looking at the big picture, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner, how much do you think you can afford to put away into this retirement account? And then we divvy it up as such. So that's going to be your SEP. Again, 100% employer contribution funded. Then when you look at the simple IRA is for your small business owners who want to be able to have the ability for employees to defer and possibly get a small match or get a non-elective contribution in a small amount, right? So remember I mentioned earlier, if a business owner is not capable of maxing out to the fullest in the 401k, again, that magic number is 23,000, but they can do something a lot less, but still want the added benefit of having the employees have skin in the game by deferring or having the ability to defer some of their own money, then the simple IRA is going to be where you want to go, right?